Alright. So, I'm beginning to wonder if there's a correlation to my insomnia, my attacks of insomnia, where I wind up not sleeping at night, and huge multinational events. It just seems like every day after I take a day off because I fucking didn't sleep and I'm exhausted, it's like the next day I have to do some fucking really complex, deep, fucking foreign thing. This is where I always get in trouble. Anyways, so I was playing Witcher 3 today after I got home from work. And I was in Skellige. Those of you who haven't played the game, it's a story. The names I use for things don't matter. Just listen to the story. For those of you who've played the game, I was in Skellige, right? And I'm running around finishing up the last of the Gwent, and I hate it because I'm down to one dude here, two dudes there, one dude here. You know, like that. I'm down to that point. So I'm just kind of running around islands looking for towns, people to play Gwent. And I go to this island, I go running across the island to go to this town. I get to this town, the NPCs stop me at the gate, and they tell me that I'm late for buying these slaves. And I'm like, huh? And the options are to say, okay, let's do this, or to say you got the wrong guy, right? So you can either play along and buy the slaves, or you could say, I'm not here to buy slaves, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? So I'm like, oh, I'll play along, you know, that's funny. And I get up to the guy who, I'm supposed to pay to get the slaves, and I, fucking do the thing, and tell him that I already paid, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right, well here's the key. And I'm like, So I'm laughing to myself. I'm going to take all these slaves from all these slave dealers, and I'm going to fucking not even pay them for it, and then I'm just going to take them out and set them free, And yeah, you go, you unlock the cage, you do this big threatening thing, anybody who fucking slags behind, you're going to die, I'll cut you down. That whole thing. And they all get scared, and then they walk after you, right? And then you lead them out of the fucking little area. And then he goes, alright, you're all free. Get the fuck out of here. Right? And what happened was, all the little NPC slaves, right? They all turned around and fucking walked right back into the slave town. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Thinking to myself, come on, programmers. They have NPC characters that fucking literally sneeze. I was running by, somebody in the game sneezed, and I would bless you without even thinking. Like that, right? Because there's so much detail in that game. For them to not fucking program slaves to run away from the people who were holding them as slaves if they actually get away. They just turned around and walked back into town because they're programmed to be in that town. And that's technically a town, so they're like, it's town. Right? So now there's going to be a bunch of just NPC slaves running around NPC Slaver Town. And I'm like, what in the fuck just happened? And so, I kind of laughed about that. And as I'm playing along the game, I'm like, there's got to be some sort of something that connects with that and what's going on nowadays. Art imitating life, life imitating art, that sort of thing, right? And it just, I don't know. I'm sure there's something there with NPC slaves that you free, and then they would just turn around and walk right back to their slavers. I don't know. There's got to be something there. I just don't know what it is. Perhaps the future will tell us.
Hans, are we the baddies?
So, alright. Iran retaliated yesterday. They launched a bunch of missiles at an Iraqi base where U.S. forces were being stationed. The whole situation made me giggle, right? Now, the whole situation, taken in totality, made me giggle. If by the end of this you don't at least giggle, clearly I'm not doing my job with my comedy channel. But I'm pretty sure you'll giggle by the end of this. So, they launched 15 long-range ballistic missiles at a base in Iraq that they believed we launched the drone from. Okay, like whether we launched it from there or not, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't really matter, because we can like launch those drones from like a back of a van on the road. You know, like that. They're drones. It's not like we need to build an entire base to launch drones from. Like that. They're not missiles. Like, and even those we can cart around and kind of launch them wherever the fuck we want. Right? They're not space rockets. How about that? We don't need to build an entire fucking facility to launch drones because they're not going into space. Right? They just go up into the air a little bit. Right? So, yeah, they hit the base where they believe the drone launched from. Okay, whatever. Let's say it did launch from there. Wow, you guys were able to figure that out. Everybody's kind of like, look, we're not going to say whether or not they hit the base, because we don't fucking talk about that shit. This ain't Obama. No, right? So, but they all kind of follow that with, but however, they don't have the intelligence capabilities to figure out where we launched that fucking thing. So I kind of read that as either they're telling us they hit the right base, they think they did, but you know, they think a lot of things. Like, either they're saying that, or they're saying, look, we're not saying. They're either not saying, or they're not saying. You know what I mean? So, either way, I'm kind of like, whatever. They're not going to say. We'll never know. Who gives a shit? When the book comes out in 20 years, then we'll know. But, so they launch all these missiles at this base. Now, they were very nice to us in this retaliation. They called us up and said, hey, we're gonna launch missiles at your base. And then, you know, we cleared all our people out. So they didn't kill anybody. They didn't kill, as far as I know, they didn't kill anybody. And I definitely know they didn't kill any Americans. It was really, really wanting to stress, no Americans were killed in this, right? Now, that's a fucking thing again. Americans being killed? Holy shit, that means something again. Right? So, pretty much that's it. Like, that was their retaliation. They called us and said, we're going to bomb your base. And then we cleared all of our people out, and they bombed the base, and that was the retaliation, right? They're all seeing this as a huge victory. Apparently they, like, live streamed it at the funeral for this fucking general guy there, this Suleimani or whatever the fuck his name is. They fucking streamed it on a big old jumbotron there, and everybody cheered. And then stampeded, and a bunch of people were fucking run over at the funeral, and I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, to me personally, I always studied Bushido, the warrior's way, right? The meaning of it. I read a lot of books about it. And one of the things is, like, a samurai wouldn't fight an old person or a child, right? There's no honor in that, right? They would just be like, no, you're a fucking child, no. There's just no honor in it, right? You should be able to just simply disarm them and put them on their ass and just go away, you know, like that. There's no honor in striking down somebody who is just so much weaker than you, it's not even a challenge, right? There's just no honor in that. You just look like an asshole at that point, right? If you get into a fight with a girl and the girl beats you up, you're a dude that got beat up by a chick, right? And if you beat up the chick, oh, fuck, you're just some guy that hits women, right? Like, you're not gonna win no matter what. There's no honor in it one way or another. This is why even bother, right? So, I kind of, like, you know what I mean? Like, I see that shit, and I kind of just think to myself, man, there's just no honor in this. Like, us fighting with them, like, I know. They're picking the fight. They're being assholes. I know. But at the same time, it's kind of like, there should just be some way that we can just not, you know, just not. Just not with them, because I just don't think there's honor in it, right? Like, they don't have the intelligence capabilities to figure out which base it is. Like, every time somebody said that, after they said, look, we're not going to say whether or not they got the right base, but we will say that they don't have the intelligence capabilities to figure out which base we do anything at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you say that, it's kind of like, yeah, but it's a kid, so, alright, like, we're just not going to say whether or not they won or not, because we're just going to be like, look, man, I ain't playing this fucking game with you. You know, like, I hear about the stampede at the funeral, and I'm just like, we're literally, fucking shit, these people are literally threatening to go to war with us, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys can't even fucking bury somebody without killing a bunch of each other. How the fuck? Really? Alright, that's cool. Whatever. So, yeah. Now, here's what makes me giggle, right? Like, the stampede didn't make me giggle, I just kind of went, oh my fucking god. Right? Like, the dude at work told me about it today. He's like, Jeer, what happened to the funeral? And I'm like, no, what happened to the funeral? And he's like, a bunch of people stampeded, fucking, like 30 people were trampled. I'm just like, oh my god, fucking. Okay. And I'm like, alright, whatever. But what made me giggle was, like, the timeline of escalation. Right? They start doing a whole bunch of stuff. Fucking with the oil pipelines and shit and all this, that, and the other thing. Donald Trump just kind of goes, hey, you stop that shit. I'm gonna sanction the fuck out of you. And they keep doing shit. And then he sanctions the fuck out of them. So that makes them think, well, we weren't able to bully him before, but by golly, he'll fucking understand we mean business whenever we threaten him this time. So they threatened more shit and did more dumb shit, and more sanctions got put on, and they got more and more pissed off because they're getting fucking crushed under the weight of it all. Right? The people are getting pissed. There's starting to be fucking riot. What was it, Iran where there was a riot, or was that somewhere else? I don't know. Recently there was a fucking, like, protest and riot somewhere and all this shit. I thought that was Iran, but I might be wrong. Whatever. It's starting to fucking grate on them. Right? This whole shit is getting to them. So, they, you know, shoot down a drone. It's an expensive piece of property of ours, right? You shoot down this drone, and Donald Trump is ready to just fucking blood running in the streets. Like, he's just about to say that. And then he talks to some people, cooler heads prevail, and he goes, you know what? It was a drone. We'll just blow this shit out over their bases. They destroy one of our drones, we'll crush one of their entire bases. I'll call that square. But make sure you tell them to get their fucking people out of there. I don't want to kill anybody. Alright? So they tell them, get all your people out of there. We're going to crush your fucking base. So they get all their people out, we crush their base. Right? What is the score so far? A drone equals a military base. You break our toy, we fuck your house. Right? And then, you know, more just shit, just kind of random shit, and they're just pissed off and fucking with tankers out in the ocean and this, that, and the other thing. But they don't really fuck anything up too bad, or at least not that anybody can prove, but everybody knows. And then, so we don't really have anything rock solid. It's fucking. So then they do this attack that kills an American. They're so happy to take credit for that shit, right? Killed an American. Woo! So what is the score now? One American. One American contractor. One fucking civilian. And what is he worth? The retaliation is their top most beloved fucking general and like a couple of his dudes. I don't really know exactly what the whole death toll was with that, but I heard it was him and some of his guys. Right? So one citizen contractor is worth one biggest general in the fucking world in that whole country. Right? Again, you break my toy, I will crush your house. Like, this is the... Sooner or later, we have to figure out this is becoming the cost. Like, right, Iran? Like, you gotta figure out, sooner or later, this is your level of escalation. You kill one fucking citizen, and we will take out your head people. That's what our citizens are worth to us. So says our president. And the retaliation for taking out their top general guy, because they had to do something, right? They called us up and said, look, our top general guy, we'd love to say that we're going to burn your whole country to the ground. Like that, in our hearts. In our hearts. We feel that your whole continent must be sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And on fire for all eternity. However that works, magic, whatever. Just make it happen. Like, that's what we think should happen. If we could do that, oh, we would so do that to you guys. However, we're really only, like, prepared to take the punishment of, like, a base. Can we, like, bomb one of your bases? Get all your people out of there and stuff. We don't want to kill anybody. But we really have to, like, do something. So can we just, like, break one of your bases? Like... There's the giggle. So yeah, what have we learned? We've learned that a drone, in the eyes of our president, is worth a military base. And we have learned that in the eyes of our president, a civilian contractor in foreign soil is worth a huge... They keep saying that he's like patent level. So, relative comparison for any of you who actually know who the fuck Patton is. Patton, right? We're gonna take out your Patton level fucking general and a couple of his fucking bodyguards. And we've also learned that the retaliation for that is technically really no better than the retaliation for when they broke one of our drones. So... Because again, I'm sure in their hearts, they wanted to just kill every American they could put their hands on. But, you know, let's be honest, they don't have that many generals.